All right, Fox Sports The Gambler, The Divide Live, Mike Powers in studio. I brought some friends with me. Mikey Hughes, you've heard him on these airwaves a ton of times. And my guy, Lou. Lou, for people that don't know, rips some packs, man. We were just talking to our program director, Jamal, and he was mentioning that he just created some designs for a local firefighter. And that website is something that Lou's on. Lou, what website is that?
Whatnot. Whatnot
Whatnot.
is it's an app and a website. It's used mostly for auctions, really. For what I do, it's sports cards. It's I'm specifically baseball cards, but football, basketball, soccer, UFC, all those
Whatnot.
types of things. Yeah, whatnot. All that type of stuff. But there's also you can do auctions for like collectibles and like Funko Pops and all these other types of things. Even other types of uh, little things that you could use around the house and things like that. It's pretty diverse.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually.
The Funko Pop game goes crazy from what I've
Yo.
heard.
Oh man, the Funko Pops is you got, especially the rare ones. I think they came out with one, if I remember, after Kobe Bryant died. They came out with one, and it was very expensive.
Yeah.
Very.
I got a Snoop Dogg one. I looked it up. I won it on the boardwalk. And he's like holding a chalice.
Yeah.
And it's worth like $100 or some crap.
What I hate about it is I used to be that guy who opened the Funko Pops because like I was like, I'm not opening this. And now I don't. I just want that on the record. Now I don't. But I have like a Post Malone one, a Biggie Smalls one that like I just like it's open and I'm like a young Mike Hughes. Why? Like why did you think that was a good idea? Everyone told you don't.
Why? But why wouldn't you? Like,
Exactly.
I hate
That
that.
was my
Especially as a
thought process.
kid, younger. I mean, that's with me too. When I was doing when I was really obsessed with wrestling, I was getting every type of action figure you could possibly imagine. And now some of them that I was playing with that are scuffed up, the arms off, this and that. That if they were in the box it came in, oh forget it. And now there's a Funko Pop too, Cody Rhodes, when when he tore his whole pec, everything, his whole arm. He wrestled the match completely purple, bruised from his pec to his like his tricep. And
Sick.
they have a Funko Pop of that now, and it's probably going to be expensive if they if people start selling it on eBay. I don't know if it's out yet, but I think it should be coming out soon.
That's awesome. I'll share one more story in the toy game. I have a Leonardo Ninja Turtle like life-size statue thing, right? We got it for like $30. A warehouse had like way too many of them. And I got one for me. I got one for my nephew. I look it up the other day. Facebook Marketplace, $300. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome, right? We have a bunch of people over for the Super Bowl. My boy Timmy, he starts pretending to choke slam it. And then he decided to put it in the middle of all the kids. And the kids beat it up, broke the arm, broke the shell.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, you just
Your boy owes you $300.
Yeah.
That hurts
Or
me
at least
internally.
$30.
That hurts me internally that you just said that. That was an internal hurt.
Dude. And I had to, he's like, yo, why are you so upset? I was like, bro, that you have no idea what you just did. Like,
Oh
it
my
just,
God.
yeah. So shout outs to Timmy. I love him to death. He's given me more than $300 in my life. So it's okay. It's
He's not
way
invited
okay.
to Super Bowl 59. For sure.
Timmy brought the beer. So Timmy's
Okay.
invited.
Okay.
All
He's
right?
valid.
So value over, like, you got to always weigh that, So what is that? A war, right? Wins over replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah, his war is ridiculous. So we're gonna keep Timmy around. Listen, I want to talk about what's ridiculous in the MLB, and those are the jerseys. We're talking about that, sharing pictures. It looks like Wish.com. It looks like they took our idea and, we buy these knockoffs from overseas and we bring them here. And I think they cut the middleman out.
It looks like you pressed it in Seaside Heights is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Honestly, it looks like you asked them to do something and they just pressed it on there.
Yeah, Manfred was like, listen, my wife got a cricket. I really want you to give her the business, right?
No, for sure. For sure. Yeah. It's bad, though, man. Like, if we were just talking about it backstage, really just breaking down, like, why it makes sense, why it could not make sense. Obviously, if we have the graphic of it of a P. Crow Armstrong going into last year's spring training, I mean, hip to hip, it looks like a rainbow going around for Crow Armstrong. And if you have two last names or you have a super long last name, that's no problem. But it's the organization and the league's job to make it look beautiful. You're trying to market something here. Like an NBA jersey to me is still second to none. There is nothing
it's
cleaner
perfect.
than a fresh retro NBA jersey. Even in today,
Perfect.
you get the nice ones. So to have this happen, especially in baseball, it's hard enough to market baseball to a lot of people. But you see, everyone around the world wears a baseball jersey. I don't want to wear this, Mike Lou. I'm a big diehard Cubs fan. I love seeing the stitching pop out of the red on the outside and the blue on the inside of a Justin Steele jersey, of a Christopher Morel jersey. And now I'm just looking at it, and it looks like a William Howard Taft jersey. Shout out to Taft, but like it looks like a high school Chicago sports jersey, and that's a problem. Like if my high school jersey is equating to that MLB jersey of a top franchise in the league, this isn't an Angels jersey, this isn't an Athletics jersey, this is a Chicago Cubs, a New York Yankees, a Shohei Ohtani jersey that looks like this. It's blowing my mind right now that this like even got through the thought process in the marketing, because it's probably foreseen by like 3-4 different people before this gets a stamp of approval. The fact that it got through everyone, Mike, we talked about it before. On American Idol, every now and again there's that one person who makes it through, and you're like, how did you get
How the hell
here? Like, you had to go through all these different people just to get in front of Simon Cowell, and somehow, some way, you're here in front of Randy Johnson? That's crazy.
Yo, and also, like, who asked for this? Did any of us in the offseason say, man, the jerseys should be changed? Now, what I will say is a lot of the players have come out and said they're very comfortable, right? But that's fine. Like, don't change the imaging. Don't change the font. Don't change where the logo is on the back of the jersey. Like, you could change the material. I like some of the jerseys. It's really cool. And it has made the giveaways at stadiums so much better. Like you could rock a jersey that, is a little cheap, and it's a mesh material, but it's still a cool fit. So
I 100%, I 100% agree with that, because I think it's very special for the players to be comfortable in the jersey. Of course, I mean that means more than what obviously people's opinion on what they look like, because they're going to be comfortable, they're going to perform better. But again, like you said with the font, you don't have to change that. I mean, I look at we were talking about it earlier with Verlander's jersey. I saw a picture of it today. It looks like Salta La Macchia now. It's completely from shoulder to shoulder, like it's completely curved. I don't get that. I mean, his name's not as long as Salta La Macchia, so I don't understand that. But again, that's a good point that you said about the material, that a lot of people are comfortable with it. Mike Trout is a big fan of those jerseys, so if they're comfortable, like what can we say about that? But
also, it's not marketable. Like we're all talking
absolutely,
about.
yeah.
Right. Like
Mike Trout's also okay with being an angel for the next 10 years. He doesn't make the greatest decisions.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh, shout out to Mike Trout. We'll have him on next week. No, I'm just kidding.
Trout.
I want to talk about your hat right now, Mikey.
Oh man, look what the girls got me, boys. Look what the girls got me. I'm loving it. Spring training Cubs 2024 in full effect. I saw a lot of bad ones. I mean, the Detroit Tigers, they went from all orange last year to barely any this year with the stripe. I'm just so happy they got this right, because Mike, like we talked about, if you were going to give me an ugly spring training hat and no Cody Bellinger to wear that hat, I was going to blow my gasket. So I got one of two. I'm rocking with it. I'm not totally excited without Cody back in the building, but I'm feeling good. You look good, you play good, you speak good. I love it.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same about the Mets right now, man. I've told people on this station that I'm on strike. I'm not going to go to a Met game. I'm still supporting. I'm not going to wear our gear until we show life. Like, and I hate to say it, man. We used to say, oh, we have the wrong owners. We have this. Oh, if we didn't have the Will Ponds, we'd be better. We don't treat our players right. We never do. Like, we mess up every scenario. And the marketability of any player is bad, right? The fan base is the fan base. it is what it is. Like I still love how loyal they are, but right now I'm just like I'm on pause, you know? Like we're not breaking up, but I'm on a break. Like, and I'm not looking for another one.
Right.
I'm just chilling right now because it's
You
been
want to see them have fight. You want to see them
yeah.
actually do what organizations are
Right.
supposed to do.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I was your age, Mikey, I was a ride or die. I didn't care, you know.
Of course.
And it was kind of like because we reinvented our image, right? Like, oh, now we have money, you know, like everything's gonna change, and like it's kind of like, you know, you hear it with artists a lot, right? Like they're like, oh, you think money's gonna solve your problems? Well, it doesn't. And you're like, yeah, right. Give me that. Let me see if it like, give me some money and let me test that theory out.
Yeah.
And the Mets fan base is kind of going through that. So, you know, I mentioned this last week, but Steve Cohen investing in the PGA, like that's concerning. Now he's got less money. Now he's involved in two sports.
Right.
You know, like there's just a lot of outliers that are a cause of concern.
You're exactly where I am with the Chicago Bulls because Jerry Reinsdorf has the White Sox and the Bulls, and all of them are horrible. Like 24 years I've been on this earth, and I have nothing but pain to show for it as a Bulls fan. I missed the 90s. I was born in 2000, so before all the old heads get on here, you don't know. I don't care. I have no personal connection to the 90s Bulls. All I know is Derrick Rose won my heart for a single season, and then after that, all I know is pain. So like it's one of those things, Mike, where like I see you owning two organizations and I see neither of them having success, and it has to be infuriating.
Yeah. So it is what it is right now. You know, you're hoping you know, the front office can figure it out, and, you know, new regime. They gutted everybody. You heard what Buck Showalter was saying in the press. You know, even his comments about Max Scherzer, like Max didn't want to quit on the team, but the front office and ownership was quitting on Max Scherzer, and that's why he left. So it was very emotional. It's very tough, and it's kind of like, you know, I get it. Like you have to rebuild. You have to build. Like that's how baseball is right now, but. Just the way they're doing it, and it's like throwing in the towel before the season starts is so deflating. So I'll go to Met games, but they'll be in Philadelphia, and I'll go to Met games, they'll be in Chicago. I'll go to Met games, they'll be in London, and that's how I'm gonna spend my life. So, Mr. Cohen, you will not get a dime for me in Citi Field, and I'll see my Mets away. So
especially because of that the season that you guys just came off of, right? I mean that season was extreme.
They could have fixed it. Yeah, it was over before it started, so they could have fixed. Yeah.
I mean that was an insanely disappointing season. I mean, disappointing at that. I mean, that's an understatement. They went negative, and that was. I mean, what were they on pace to do? They were expected to do.
The over was 89. Over under was 89. They did 100. They had a franchise. One of the franchise, if not the best, over 100 games the year before. Buck was manager of the year, to be fired the next year. Talk about not understanding like what you're going through, right? So you literally, the last day of this season, are still selling Buck Showalter manager of the year cups in your stadium while he's telling the press, this will be my last game in this uniform. And it sucks. You know, so talk about just Mets being Mets, man. And it's just like,
but Drew Gilbert, remember
yes,
the words. Remember the words. It's gonna be okay. GBO, go Big Orange. We got college baseball kicking off in a week. I have to give a shout out to Drew Gilbert because Mike, everything's gonna be okay. I promise you. This kid.
You're forgetting about one more, guys, too.
Yeah.
You're forgetting about one more.
Who you got?
That they got from the Rangers. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Max's deal was pretty good too.
Luis.
Yeah.
Ango.
They did get Luis.
Oh, that guy's a dog, man. Woo.
And then they also got Vladdy's little brother, right? Vlad Guerrero.
They're the king of little brothers, man. I bet.
We are. Like, but that's the key, man. Older brothers, like my brother worked with me up to this year in the same company our entire lives. We went from Six Flags to Circuit City to PC Richard and Son, and I miss him. And like, like that kept me around in a lot of those companies for a longer time.
Yeah.
So maybe they're on to something. Could you imagine if we got Big Brother, Little Brother, even one of those combinations?
Division rivals too. On top of that, when you look at Acuna's going after it, I mean, it'll be
Oh yeah,
it'll be insane.
Mm-hmm.
The Wilson Contreras brothers are doing that right now. No, isn't William in Milwaukee, and you have Wilson in St. Louis?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty dope.
And I gotta admit, man, I think the future of baseball is extremely bright. When you're looking at these prospects and these rookies, oh man, I can't. And especially, I mean, again, no offense, he's in your division, Mike, but I love Ellie De La Cruz. I know he had a little bit of a rough end to his season, but Ellie De La Cruz, I mean, that kid is an animal.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I paid $100 to sit behind home plate to watch him play at Wrigley Field, and he went 0 for 4. So I'm off the Ellie De La Cruz train until he gets.
How late in the season was that?
It was June, July, something like that. But I, in all seriousness, dog. But I want my money back. But
no, I mean, if you're gonna sit in those seats and then
I was so hurt, bro. Have
him go 0-4 that is
Cubs won like 13-4. Mike, I was the only Cubs fan sitting there like this.
Dude, I thought for sure like the Reds were gonna be that storybook story. Like it was so much fun to watch them, and like the Mets were out of it, so they became my my side chick.
They are pretty electric. They were really electric. Matt McLean too. Now they got him up.
Dude, it was a mixture of veterans and youth. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just,
and they really still got some guys.
Yeah, it was really cool to see, and it's just, it's unfortunate how it panned out, but 162 is no joke, man. No, it's a grind, and
no, it's a lot. And it's a long. It's especially for teams, even teams who are doing phenomenal. It's very hard to stay on top.
Yeah,
it is. And the Braves, I mean, stayed on top. I mean, they didn't do great in the playoffs, of course, but they stayed on top for the whole season.
Right. No, sorry to cut you off.
No.
I was getting emotional about the Mets again. Freaking, even they could have roped me in by just sitting down or pretending that they would do anything to keep Pete Alonso, right? Like, give me something. Give me freaking something, because there's at least a dozen teams that'd be like, hey, I'd love to have Pete Alonso. So like it just everything about the Mets irks the crap out of me. Right. Like, offer him, be like, hey, we said, hey, we believe in you, we want you, $220 million. 8 years, 9 years, whatever.
Lock
Try to
him
get
up.
an extra year, lock them up. It's still a sweetheart deal, and be like, you are the face of our franchise. So we're not gonna win, but we have a face.
So, Mike, you mentioned the face, though, and Lou mentioned ATL. So I know we got to get out of here in a little bit, but I got to talk about it. I would have put my whole life savings on Ronald Acuna Jr. being the face of MLB The Show's cover this year. And
please don't even make me. I am so.
Vladdy's the cover. How are we feeling about it?
I play that game more than any game, and I'm not even to brag. A couple years ago in MLB 22,
Lou's got his own character.
I was top probably 1% in the world in that game. And I was so good in that game. I was so excited for the cover, and then it was Jazz Chisholm, and I was like, okay, I'm like, that's swaggy, right? Swaggy, but earning, I don't know if he earned it. And then and then Vlad just came off of this year, and he had a little bit of an underwhelming year for him, and now he gets the cover. I could have sworn it was Acuna, or it would have been. I thought it could also be J-Ram. I thought maybe it's Seager. Anybody. I was not expecting Vladdy. I mean,
to Mike's point, I would have put Ellie De La Cruz over out of the young guys. I would have put Ellie over a guy like Vladdy or Bo or any.
Oh yeah. And then I thought last year when Chisholm was on the cover, I thought it was going to be J-Rod. I thought Julio was going to be the cover because he was rookie of the year and he was unbelievable.
Pretty boy.
Yeah, great cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I mean, they're both swaggy. So
here's what I would say: 2007 MLB The Show. You know what was on there?
Oh,
David Wright. right?
Yeah.
So
Baez
the Madden curse is real. The MLB Show curse is
It is.
getting
You
up
know what
there,
I will
man. It's
say to your
close.
point? 2019, Baez made the cover, hasn't recovered since. So I will say to that point, it's pretty valid. Harper got Tommy John. Shohei unfortunately has to deal with Dodgers fans all over the world.
21 was Tatis. What happened to my man? Steroids, right?
Man. Oh,
Yo, the Show curse.
At least you guys had Javi before he really just plummeted.
Oh man, Javi was El Mago.
He was a highlight reel every game.
Man's got a street named after him here for a reason. The kid's an animal.
They also do these weird like MVP editions and stuff. So I'm curious.
Sometimes I like those.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Ohtani's
this year they're doing Negro Leagues, which is awesome. And I think Josh Gibson's going to be in there. And I think that's really big for the game because they're now incorporating all the Negro Leagues. I mean, when you talk about Josh Gibson as well, Gibson is a guy who they don't really know how many home runs he's hit.
No, he's the Babe Ruth of the Negro Leagues.
He could potentially have hit the most home runs ever in history of all baseball around the world.
He deserves
crazy.
His attributes to show that in the
right,
MLB.
Exactly. And you got people like Satchel Paige. I grew up. Satchel Paige was in textbooks in school. Yep. Satchel Paige was one of those guys. He was almost seemed like a myth. That's how he was talked about. And now you got these guys in the game. You could use these guys, Buck O'Neil. You can use guys like that. I mean, obviously, of course, Jackie Robinson. He was always in the game, really. But these guys paved the way for the Negro Leagues, and you got to have them in the game now. And I think that's a great little attachment to that.
Yeah, shout outs to Branch Rickey and the Brooklyn Dodgers for fixing a horrible situation in our sport. And, I'm proud to be a Brooklyn native because of that. And, Jackie is a jersey that I constantly buy. And the minute it gets worn, I get another one. So I love that, man. I love Brooklyn. I always say, like, if there was – so Brooklyn owns the rights. I don't know if you know this. Buffalo does too. If the MLB did expand, they would be allowed to bid on a team. And that would be absolutely insane. And I don't know what I would do because I hated the Jersey Nets. The minute they moved to Brooklyn, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Jay-Z, Brooklyn, the Nets. Like, let's freaking go. And so now I'm a Nets fan, but not really. But
they were pretty fun when it was a fun new thing to watch.
Carter Kidd, the jerseys, the Barclays Center. Like,
don't forget those 3 minutes of Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden.
Oh man,
3 minutes.
At least they tried. Like, I like that though. Like, I never complained about any of that.
I'm still a diehard Kyrie fan. It's hard to be a diehard Kyrie fan, but I just love the man's handles and who he is.
Especially how he's performing with the Mavs now. I mean, how many people? I mean, asked him. Like, you couldn't have done this for Brooklyn.
I know. I know. My favorite Kyrie moment was like, he hated Boston so much that after the game, like, he went over to the Leprechaun logo and like put a cigarette out on the guy's on his face, and it was just not a real cigarette, but like the foot move. Yeah, and I was just like, yo, that's awesome. Like,
Kyrie's one of one for sure. Interesting dude.
Man's got some crazy handles.
Yeah, I had a conversation today with the donut company, and it was hilarious because Duncan went full Boston during the Super Bowl, right? You had Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Tom Brady. So they're like, yeah, we don't know how to market. Like, what would you suggest? And I said, well, the whole world hates Boston besides Boston. And your biggest competitor just went full Boston. Right. You should do the opposite.
Get LA guys.
Yeah, or just any guy. We're Chicago. We're LA. We're New York. We're not Boston. If you want Boston, there's a guy. The
Showtime Lakers show. I can't swear on here, but they had the whole F Boston segment in the Showtime Lakers HBO series.
Exactly. I was like, you don't like, and they don't get it because like the sports world really focuses on that, and then also like equality and stuff like that too. Boston kind of is way behind the 8 ball with that. Yeah. But listen, we're gonna get out of here. This is the Divide Live will be right back. I want to thank my guests for this segment, Mikey Hughes, Lou. We got to come up with a cool name for you, like Rip It Lou or something like that, man. Because
I have a name actually in on the app on whatnot that they
What is
always
it?
call me. It's something for Bronx Tale. I don't know if you guys even know who this is. His name's Lou Dumps in the Bronx Tale.
Yo, you are now
Lou
Lou
Dumps.
Dumps.
Lou
Uh,
Dumps is the guy who owed Colodro money that it took him $20 to get him out of his life forever. That's what Sonny told him. So my name is Lou Dumps. My friend who got me the job with the cards, his older brother, just started naming me that out of nowhere when we were hanging out. So that just stuck, and that's what we use on the app.
I'm trying to think of a show like The Dump with Lou. Like that sounds bad,
Yes,
right?
that's what I've been thinking. I've been trying to think of things like that. When you
Yeah.
put it that way, it's like
That's terrible.
it's but
The
it was
big dump.
the
But
big dump.
it could get noticed and
They're like, yo, the
it sh-
big dump. I'm wondering what that could possibly mean.
well, we got a dump for a commercial break, and
Yeah.
we'll be back next week, and I'm sure you guys will be with me. So I appreciate that. Everybody have a great night.